Dear friends, welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today, this is a conclusion video of the reading challenge Ecovision 23. So, before I starting the any reading challenge, we will be recording a video called announcement video. So, I will just give you the background of this particular reading challenge. So, there is one booktuber named Jason Harrigan. He is from Ireland. I don't know him personally, but I have seen some of his videos. So he is a very popular booktuber at that time. Then he announced that he will be reading Umberto Eco novels written by Umberto Eco in 2023. So in 2000, before 2023 itself, I have read two novels written by Umberto Eco. One is The Name of the Rose and Focus Pendulum. So these two novels, I was very impressed by Umberto Eco's craft and the knowledge he had to write that novel. So I was impressed. So I already decided to reread the same novels and also read the other novels of Umberto Eco also. So I was that was in my mind, but in the backside of my mind. But our feeling is to read more new books, and because I already read the book and I don't know, I already know the story. So and what are the things there, vague things are there in the novel vaguely. So I thought, why reread instead, read new books. So during that time, Jason Harrigan come up with this particular reading challenge. So I joined him because I thought, okay, this is a good opportunity because this is a reading challenge. So you are challenging yourself to read. So you will be reading these books because Umberto Eco books are very big. So you that is also a obstacle for reading this book. When you especially when you are reading with a goal of reading this number of books per year. So I because when this reading challenge was been proposed, I joined and I started. Then Jason Harrigan also said he will be starting from March onwards. So I had some personal issues during 2023 starting. So I also thought I will start from March. So I started reading novels from March and started giving reviews of each book I have read in English itself in as a separate videos of this reading challenge. So when I started the reading challenge, I announced, when after Jason Harrigan, I recorded a video called announcement and introduction in 2022 after Jason Harrigan. So I just so in the that is an introduction video, and I said so many things about Umberto Eco and some things I read from internet about books also. So I already told about Umberto Eco, so I won't be repeating any of that information here. But I thought, because I recorded an introduction video, I must record a conclusion and then video which conclude to just tell I concluded the reading challenge. The reading challenge was to read 7 novels written by Umberto Eco. Umberto Eco only write 7 novels. Even though he had so many essay collections, non-fiction essay collections are more than 70-80 essay collection is there in Italian language itself. Then most of them, like maybe half or more than half of them, are translated to English also. And there is a lot of books written after Umberto Eco's academic ideas. Like he had so many academic ideas, so that's also there. Then this reading challenge which proposed by Jason Harrigan was only about reading 7 novels. So I read the 7 novels during the 2023, and now this is just a conclusion video. I just to announce that I concluded the challenge. So in this video I will be just quickly reviewing all the 7 books in a one video. That will be my intention. So I will start with The Name of the Rose. The Name of the Rose is the first book written by Umberto Eco. This is a novel about a series of murder happening in a medieval abbey, and 2 people, William of Baskervilles and Uds of Milk, investigating the crime. And this is a crime thriller with history. It is a historical fiction which has a crime fictional aspect also. The entire abbey and the William of Baskerville and every character is fictional, but it except William and Also, everybody has this shade of original people who are lived in the medieval time. And also the historical background is, even though the abbey is fictional, the historical background is what happened during the medieval time. So this is a very wonderful work. This is especially with the craft, you can read this book. This is the most popular book written by Umberto Eco. And the next thing is, just I'm showing is Malayalam translation. Malayalam is my mother tongue. Malayalam is where I'm from, Kerala, in which is a state in India. So we talk our mother tongue, and our native language is Malayalam. So this is a Malayalam translation of the name of the rose. So it's translated by Dr. Radhika C. Nair. This is a wonderful translation. I am just showing there is a translation in Malayalam available. This is the only Malayalam translation of any Umberto Eco work. So there is a lot of books written about Umberto Eco. Like Umberto Eco's literature is very popular. Literature and literary ideas, like critical ideas, and some of his academic ideas are all very popular worldwide. So some of the books have been written about Umberto Eco. This is the first direct translation of any Umberto work into Malayalam, and this is published in very recently. It is published in 2021, only 2 years. It is published in 2021, so it's very recent. But this is if you consider our the amount of books selling in Kerala itself is very, because even though I am a person who is able to read Malayalam, I am also reading most of my 90% 80% of my books are like I am reading in English. So you can see this is happening because we are very educated people. We will be reading a lot of English books. So the market is very narrow about for this our Malayalam books in general, and also it is very so this is a very brave attempt by the translator and the publisher to publish this very tough book. When you compare the history, like the fictional, the easiest thing to understand is that crime fictional aspect, but everything else is you have to know a lot of things about Europe to understand the book. So this is common in all Umberto Eco work. Like if you have to be very aware of history of some of the histories of Catholic Church, and some of the history of Europe, and especially in Italian side. In Italy, there is so many things happened during Catholic. When I was reading it, I referred to the Catholic Church as Europe thing. But then I remember the Rome is in Italy itself. So like Vatican City is a place in Italy. So that somehow didn't cross my mind. So at first I was saying, oh, you have to understand history, European history. But because for me, like I thought, Italy is controlled. Europe is controlled by Catholics and Pope. That was my idea, because I am sitting in India and I am thinking about Europe. So my idea was like I am thinking Pope is in the middle of the Europe and controlling everything. But Italy, at first it didn't cross my mind that Pope is in Italy itself. So you have to understand. I mean, so I always say you have to understand the history of Europe, right? I mean, mostly you have to understand the history of Italy, because Umberto Eco, Italian writer, he actually was writing about Italy, but he also border things. Like if we do the name of the rose, someone is from Germany, someone speaks another state. So I mean, like the nearer countries has been mentioned, because the abbey is in a border between German and Italy. So you have to understand Italian history more, but I always refers to because the Pope is involved, because Pope is controlling the entire world. So I have this imagery of Pope sitting in the middle of the Europe and controlling everything. So I thought you have to understand Europe history, but basically Umberto Eco is pure to his own country, his own language and his own people. Like he tried to write his own place history. That is, all writers are doing that, but for some reason it didn't cross my mind that it is Pope is sitting inside Italy. I thought it is. I was thinking about Europe as whole, and Pope is sitting in the middle and controlling everything. So you have to understand Italian history to to understand I mean, more like from history, Italy's point of view, the history you have to understand from Italy's point of view, and world history in general. I mean, so many things have been discussed in Umberto Eco works, but now when I think now it's like a point of view from the Italy. Italy is what he's more concerned, interested in. This is the same with like if I write if I read some Kerala work like Malayalam historical novel, they will be writing about our culture, our place, and the people are going from from India to outward, and the history will be raw. We will be understanding more the book rather than a person who reads who if it is translated to English and read in English, read by an European, he might not understand the some of the things which has been discussed in our own historical novel. So I understand the limitation of translation, especially when history is involved. The next book is another popular book written by Umberto Eco, Focus Pendulum. I think this is the second most popular novel by Umberto Eco, Focus Pendulum. This is about three editors in a publication house want to publish something hot, something trending. So they think what is trending, and during that time in 1980s, the trending topic was conspiracy theory. So even today conspiracy theory is very popular. Once the YouTube was like full of conspiracy theories only. Now I think there is some censorship or some shadow banning happening. First thing, it was very popular when YouTube was like gaining popularity, full of conspiracy theory, the documentary after documentary about like amateur documentaries about conspiracy theory. So I can understand the popularity of conspiracy theories in the 1980s, and they want to cash in by publishing some books, and they actually they start reading to publish a book about conspiracy theory, but they eventually come up with some their own conspiracy theory, and they somehow it become real. So that's a, and Umberto Eco explains why this become real in the end, and all. It is very slow novel, very slow burner. Like he want to just make a point that the people fall for any people, like even the intelligent people in characters in this book, they can fall for conspiracy theories, but it is a very slow process. Not like one day you say something, you heard something and you suddenly change your mind. Not like that. It is a very slow process, but anyone can fall for conspiracy theories is the message of this novel. But it is written in a very slow manner, but it's a wonderful work. It will blow your mind with the information dump. And next book, this book is actually one of my favorite novel after these two books, because I had a work in Gulf means in Qatar. I was working in Qatar. So I was in 2022. I went to Qatar, and I was I was new to that place. First time I'm going there for working, so there is working conditions. We are working in construction field, so you are learning a lot of new things. So the same thing happened. Like when I was reading this blown my mind, because the character in this book, the protagonist of this book, somehow I mean, it is explained in the novel how he end up in a ship, but he end up in an abandoned ship, like in 12th century. It's a historical novel, 12th century, and how he end up there, it is explained further, but the novel starts from flashback. Novel starts from when he end up in the ship, and the novel will reveal how it happened in flashbacks. But he was exploring the ship, because he is new to ship. He don't know whether there is another person there or is it safe. He has no idea. Somehow, how I went to Qatar, somehow, because it's a new environment. So it's a very relatable novel when I was reading it. So I read this in Qatar, and it's not my native place, not my country. So I was very, you don't know what is waiting for you there. So the same with the character also. The first so many chapters, and then chapters are about he's exploring the new environment. Like I want to say, put it that way. Like I was also exploring the new country, new environment. The character also exploring the new environment. The new environment is abandoned ship. So that how it is abandoned, why it's abandoned, how he ended up there, all explained as a story. It's a story is happening in 16th century, I believe, 16th century story. 16th century, so 16th century history also has been told. And one of the subplot of this novel is long history of longitude. History of longitude is a long history of humans trying to establish a method to find out longitude. So that is a subplot in the novel, but Umberto Eco is more interested in giving the 16th century history and how people might have thought, how their scientific thoughts uh, uh, have been, how it could have been. That is his idea. So historical novel, very interesting book, you can read. I mean, this I personally recommend, because it's a, I personally, like, I was when I was reading, I was like, I was in a trance when I was reading this novel, because I was like, this is I thought the novel is going to give me some answers, because you are, I am also go there, went there in Qatar, and and I was slowly exploring the exploring means you are learning new things, new how to be a, how to do your job, how to interact with people, new people, and explore, getting sites, construction sites. So there is a lot of new places. You have to learn the names of the places. You have to go there. So I thought this novel is going to give me some answers, because I want to do as the the major character is going to do what. So, and I want to see what is the major character going to do in the end. And maybe there is some answers, but read and find out. You should read and find out what answers is given by the novel. So then this is Baldino. Baldino is a 12th century novel, 12th century historical fiction. Baldino is a fictional character in a real setting. Like the histories happened, and some of the events has been, the Umberto was giving, like, oh, this is what happened, but it could be, and there is a hidden hand of Baldino in all those historic events. That was the premise of this novel. Like he will explain this, he will give the historical characters are there, plus Baldino also there. Then there is a journey to Pastor John. Pastor John is a very famous myth believed by so many Christians. So during that time, so they go to the land of Pastor John's, but they will never enter Pastor John's kingdom, but they will encounter some unique, crazy creatures on the way. And that is this book about Baldino. Baldino's fictional character in a real historical setting. Like it's a easy, like if you know the history, it will be very interesting. That's what I mean. I am not familiar with this particular King Frederick's history. So if you know the history, and Umberto Eco has played with that thing, you will be more interested. Oh wow, he's played with the information, and he done all those things in between. So you will be amazed. You will be interested in the plot. For me, it is like I am reading a story. If the entire novel is fiction, it doesn't matter, because I have no idea what is history and what is fiction. Like, but when you are aware of this thing, like this is fiction, this is fact, but he is written in such a way that fiction and fact mingle each other, then you will be amazed to read. But for me, if you say, oh, the Baldino is full fiction, nothing, just he made up the entire thing, I have to believe, because I have no idea about European history. I mean, Italian history. Italian. Okay. The Mysterious Flame of Queen Luano. This is my least favorite book. Among the 7 novels written by Umberto Eco. This is about books, popular books. Okay, let me tell the story. Like, first, there is a character who is an antique book dealer. He goes into coma, and he forgets everything about himself, but not nothing he has learned. So he read so many books in his life. So he already he's never, he didn't forget what he read and learned. So his wife will still go to your ancestor home and try to read the old books you have read during your childhood, and maybe your memories may come back. So he goes to the an ancestor home and try to read all the childhood books he has read. That means this can only understand by Italian. I mean, that's what I get. Like the entire book is about the books the character read when he was in, which is the original. This is because it's an historical novel. All the books mentioned is original books, which was popular in 1940s and 1950s during Italy. And I have no idea what are these books, and what is the relevance of these books. But an Italian can, I mean, can relate to this novel, and maybe he may enjoy the work also. But I didn't like it all, because I mean, already there is a disconnection between, because there is history involved and Italy is new to me. So instead of and there is history involved, like facts involved. Like if you are reading an Italian detective story, or any story, like any novel, if you don't have to know something, like you have to just the places name didn't matter, someone died in a church, but the novelist will give you so many names, character names, because Italian names are different, Indian names are different. So there will be that kind of contextual thing, but the storyline will be same for me. You can read, enjoy, like if Sherlock Holmes, for example, you can Agatha Christie, you can read and enjoy. It's irrelevant, like I don't know nothing about Britain, I don't know nothing about Scotland, but Scotland Yard, that doesn't matter. Like for this you have to know so many facts to read Umberto Eco. So that's a disconnection already. Then there is another disconnection, which is books which was popular in 1940s in Italy. How could I know which book was popular, or what Umberto Eco was trying to imply? Next is Prague Cemetery. Prague Cemetery is one of the, I think, the third most popular novel of Umberto Eco. This is about a guy who makes fake documents, and he makes fake documents and creates so many problems for so many people in Europe. So I think this is more like a pan-Europe novel. Like he's talking about European issue, not I think the character is Italian, but more like a European thing. I think this novel can be a pan-Europe, because whatever the even though the character may be an Italian person, the whatever he does imply is actually affecting a lot of people, and a lot of I mean, a lot of people in different contexts. Like in some era it is some decade it is different. Some decade the enemy is always changes, but he makes fake documents to create enemy for the public. So he is also discussing about Jewish hate, how Jewish hate developed with the fake documents in Europe. That has been discussed. The Prague Cemetery is one of the most popular, I mean, third most popular novel of Umberto Eco. You can read if you know some European history. I mean, as I said, if it is totally fictional, entire thing made up by Umberto Eco. If you say the entire book is made up by Umberto Eco, I have to believe, because I have no idea. But I searched some of the things in the internet, and I find out some of actually true. So I know some of the, but for me it takes so much long time to understand what is fiction and what is. I mean, if I have that time, I can do it. But now I have I have no the time. That I don't have the time. That's another problem. So anyway, I read the book. It's a the narration style is very unique, diary format style. So that's interesting. You can read. If you know European history, you can read for how the hate spreads with the fake thing. But it's a very important thing, because now it is like deep fake. He's made the character is the stories happening in 18th century. So the fake documents has to be in paper and written format, and it should not the original, it should look like original. Like, but in here now also the fake documents are very popular, like in WhatsApp or Facebook, or even the deepfake are coming. So it's easier nowadays to make people hate each other. So that's this is one of the, like, the making fake documents to polarize people is the theme of this book. You should not do it. Is sarcasm and humor is sarcastic about, or critical about that particular activity of human beings in this novel. Next and final novel. This is the final novel I read in 2023 about Umberto Eco's final novel, and this is also the final novel written by Umberto Eco. This is a very short novel compared to other Umberto Eco novels. The name of the novel is Numero Zero. So the one guy, one business person, like big business person, wants to start a newspaper. So, and he forms a team. He calls one guy. His name is Professor. One professor he calls and says, we want to make a newspaper. And he make a team. And one of the team member is our protagonist. Protagonist is called by his professor to make a sample newspaper before going public. So they want to just show how the paper will look and what are the things will be in the newspaper, like that. So the entire book is about discussion about what to include in a newspaper, and all this is about criticism. The novel is a criticism or satire about newspaper industry, which is very popular. Newspaper was very popular during Umberto Eco's time, but in written thing now it's like an old thing, right? So now we have social media, YouTube, and as I said, deep fake. Instant knowledge, like you are seeing live. If there, even if it is a bomb blast or something, the camera is there before itself, and you are seeing everything live nowadays. So you see, so there is so many things fake about that also. Even if you are watching a video, most of them are fake. Like they can make excellent fake videos also nowadays. But this newspaper is slowly getting irrelevant. I don't know if anyone is reading newspaper. Here in India, it's very popular. Newspaper is slowly, because of the television is getting very popular, and internet and social media, etc. Even though it is reducing in number, like the power, circulation is getting reduced, still newspaper is a important news media in India, but I don't know about Europe. But anyway, this is a criticism for satire about newspaper and how they are misinforming or non-informing public. Satire about newspaper. So Numero Zero. So all these 7 novels I read in 2023 under Ecovision Reading Challenge. Ecovision 23 Reading Challenge. And thanks to Jason Harrigan. Jason Harrigan actually started this reading challenge. Then he went abscond. Like he was missing for like entire year. Now also he is missing. I don't know where he went. But I am the only person now started doing this, and I am the only person in entire YouTube who participated in it, and I am the only person who is read the books and uploaded the videos. Reading challenge, including the original proposer was Jason Harrigan. He didn't participate. I don't know, maybe some personal problem, maybe. But anyway, thanks for watching my video. I thought because I made an introduction video, it's a apt thing to do a conclusion video. So even if nobody is watching, just for completion sake. And thank you for watching my video.